Welcome back. All right, so early night by my standards, and it's the last busy Sunday. Next Sunday, I think there's two games, so it's my last Sunday of all day hockey. All right, I always feel like it's a marathon. So looking at how many games have been played, how many games are left, it kind of feels like I can see the finish line in that marathon, and then and then all the fun stuff gets started. Not that the regular season hasn't been fun. So starting off with Islanders and Carolina, and I'm wearing Carolina because way to bounce back. They've gone through a rough patch. They're still having problems with getting the goals they need, but hey, tonight they were against Sorokin. They had Freddie Anderson in the net themselves. Early jump for the Islanders. The shots are 3-1 in favor of the road team. 3.5 minutes in. Canes press 9 minutes into it. Kotkaniemi's denied from the slot. Natchez has a snapshot that's kicked aside. We get a power play then for the Islanders. Short-handed Martinook rush is defended, and that's killed off. Puljujarvi's then denied. The Canes with some momentum. Drury can't bury one in close, and before the period's out, it is the Islanders who get that first goal. It's Pajot from Engvall and Mayfield at 17:33. So after the first period, it's 1-0 New York. Second period, Canes with the early edge. Kotkaniemi's denied. Sorokin really sharp in this game. Crossbar for Burns. Shots on net are 4-1 for Carolina at 3.5 minutes. Burns, then he has a shot that's blocked. That's 12 blocks to that point in the game for the Islanders. Very busy blocking shots. But at 9:27, Kotkaniemi gets one that's not blocked. He scores from Puljujarvi and Nason. Believe that's Puljujarvi's first point with the Carolina Hurricanes. Then Puljujarvi would hit the post shortly thereafter. Puck's cleared out by the Islanders, but you can see Puljujarvi starting to get his game together with Carolina. Canes press with 5 minutes left. There was more pressure by Carolina with 3:30 left, and it's 1-1 after two. Third period. Near miss for Engvall on a rush, and then Martinook wires one short side on the rush from Slavin at 2:31. So Martinook with a goal there. I believe everybody thought he was going to pass it, and he shot instead. Canes press for another. The shots on net are only one apiece at 4.5 minutes. Power play then for Carolina. Anderson holds with Parisi on the doorstep after that was done. That power play is not successful. Shots are 6-4 for the Islanders with 7 minutes left. Fast couldn't bury one on a 2-on-1. Horvat's denied on a power play chance the Islanders had shortly after that, and that's killed off. Then with 2:29 left, the Canes get a power play, and of course, that can end it, right? They're already ahead by one. The goalie pull would happen with 45 seconds left, so they pulled the goaltender to make it a 5-on-5 while the puck was in Carolina's end. Kotkaniemi would then hit the post on the empty netter. The Canes would ice the puck with 9.3 seconds left, but in the end, Carolina wins at 2-1. They go to 49-18-9 with the win. Combined with other results tonight, they should now finish first in the division. The Islanders 39-30-9 with the loss, and they're not out of the woods in terms of finishing below the playoff line. 3 stars, Martinook, Kotkaniemi, and Anderson. Shots on net 15-7 Carolina in the first, 13-7 Carolina in the second, 8-7 for the Islanders in the third. Final shots 35-22 for Carolina. Power plays, both teams 0 for 2. The hits 18-11 for the Islanders. Sorokin saves 33 out of 35, and Anderson saved 21 out of 22. So not overly busy, but effective. And for Carolina, huge win. All right, next up, Ottawa and Columbus. Ottawa, of course, needs help. They need help to get above the playoff line. They need to start winning. And tonight's just another hit on that, right? So it's Talbot versus Gillies. Giroux fires one wide on an early turnover. Columbus then gets a power play and they score on it. Johnson wires one through a screen, 5-hole. Bayreuther and Gaudreau with the assists at 2:41. That was the first shot of the game for Columbus. Now, Ottawa answers. Gambrell from Brandstrom at 4 minutes. So it's a tie game for 5 seconds. 5 seconds later, Robinson, bar down from Bemstrom and Richards. That was the second shot of the game for Columbus, and that one's in the net as well. So, rough start to the game for Cam Talbot in this one. Gaudreau then fires one wide on a rush. But at 9:26, Ottawa ties it up. It's Kastelik from Clevin. So Clevin with his second helper already. And Sens then press with 7.5 minutes left. Eventually, they get the lead. DeBrincat scores from Gregg at 14:46, and then the Sens press for another. So it looks like they've escaped, what could have been a tough situation for them. That the dreaded trap game, no problem. Second period with them up 3-2. Columbus presses, they're kept to the outside. The shots on net are 3-1 for Ottawa, 4 minutes in. We get a power play for Ottawa. Really, honestly, Gillies was quite good in that second period. That power play's killed off. Joseph's denied right after. Columbus presses at the half. Marchenko has a chance that's held. But in that second half of the period, it is very much back and forth, the chess match. But hey, it's still 3-2 for Ottawa after 2. Third period. Sens press at 2 minutes. Jackets block. No room in the middle. Might be one of the better defensive efforts I've seen from Columbus this season, honestly. Power play for Ottawa, that's killed off with a shorthanded Corrali rush at the end of it. Just the one shot for Ottawa during that power play. Shots on net are 2-1 for Ottawa at 6.5 minutes. Greg has a shot that's saved and held. Columbus then gets a power play. Marchenko has a tip shot that's saved. They clear it out and they kill it off. Sens press with 8.5 minutes left. DeBrincat with a near miss. Jackets clear. And at 14-11, Boone Jenner ties the game. The assist to Marchenko. Jackets had pressed with 3 minutes left. They had some momentum. So now we're going into overtime. On the overtime, the Sens win the opening faceoff and go to set up. And then they immediately turn the puck over. Marchenko gets the goal from Gaudreau at 16 seconds. Columbus wins this one 4-3 in overtime. They go to 24, 44, and 8 with the win. With the overtime loss, Ottawa now 37, 34, and 6. And really, the math has gone beyond now with Ottawa. 3 stars are Jenner, Marchenko, and Gillies. Shots on net, 11-6 Ottawa in the first, 8-7 Ottawa in the second. Both teams had 8 shots in the third. Columbus had the only shot of overtime. That's all they needed. Final shots, 27-22 for Ottawa. Power plays, the Sens 0 for 2. Columbus 1 for 2. Hits, 27-20 for Columbus. Talbot saves 18 out of 22. Gillies saves 24 out of 27. It is rare for a goalie to get one of the 3 stars when his save percentage isn't 900. But here we are. Not quite sure what the rabbit was running around about. Anyways, I don't know how much the microphone picks that up. All right, next up. Last one on this board is Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. So this one became interesting when it probably shouldn't have been. Pittsburgh, of course, came into today 1 point below the Florida Panthers. This was their game in hand. So it's Ersson versus DeSmith. Letang with his 1,000 game ceremony. That was a nice thing to see before the game. Delorier with a net feed. That's held. The shots on net are 2-0 for the Flyers at 3.5 minutes. Often when you get the ceremony at the start of the game, it can knock the home team's start off the rails a little bit. There's a blocker save on Allison from the slot. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Rust is denied as the Penguins press. Things get pushy on a hold by Ersson. And then Raquel opens the scoring from Dumoulin and Malkin at 11:40. The Penguins then get a power play, and they score on it at 14:53. It's Raquel with the second goal of the first period. Malkin and Crosby with the assists. The Penguins then press with 4 minutes left. Konechny denied, and the question was asked about whether or not the glove of DeSmith actually crossed the line. Nope. The puck did not completely cross the line. He makes the glove save and keeps it out, and Konechny cannot believe that one didn't go in. Flyers press are kept to the outside. Letang is a blast that's held. It's 2-0 Pittsburgh after the first. Second period. Frost fires one early that goes wide. Petrie to Malkin. That gets picked off. The shots on net are 2-1 for the Flyers at 4.5 minutes. So again, Flyers a decent start for them. We then get a power play for the Penguins. That lasts 13 seconds before it becomes a 4-on-4. Everything's killed off there. Tippett has a chance that's saved. The Penguins clear. Malkin has a rush shot that's saved. We get a power play for the Flyers. DeAngelo has a blast that's saved. Rebounds cleared. The power play's killed off. The Flyers get some pressure after. But at 13:23, Rust scores to make it 3-0 from Crosby and Petrie. And then the Penguins press for another after that goes in. Flyers go back to the power play. That lasts 22 seconds before it becomes a 4-on-4. Zucker to Malkin near miss, and Lemieux is denied at the horn. Everything was killed off, of course, in that 4-on-4, little overlapping power play situation. But it's 3-0 Pittsburgh after 2. Third period. Early jump for the Flyers. Malkin takes his 4th penalty. He wasn't happy about it. The Flyers with that power play. And he gets a penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. And he was mad because he took a high stick. And it wasn't caught. They didn't call it. So he starts yapping at the ref, and he didn't stop. So the referee gives him the game misconduct. He's out of the game. And, it's a lot of penalty minutes for Malkin tonight, but it's not like he had an overly dirty or physical game. He just took penalties, and he was not happy that they weren't calling the ones that he felt they should on Philly. At any rate, that power play is killed off by Pittsburgh. Shots are 5-3 for the Flyers at 5.5 minutes, and then at 5:57, Delorier gets Philly on the board from DeAngelo and Van Riemsdyk. He buries it from the slot on a turnover. Power play then for the Penguins. That's killed off. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. There's another power play for Philadelphia. That's killed off as well. And then Konechny makes it really close at 17:31 from Frost and Farabee. Suddenly it's a one-goal game, and it shouldn't be. But the goalie gets pulled, and the empty net is hit by Paling from Granlund and Dumoulin at 18:48 to help the Penguin fans in attendance relax as the Penguins win this one 4-2. They go to 38, 29, and 10 with the win. For Philadelphia, 29, 34, and 13 with the loss. Your 3 stars in this one, Raquel, Rust, and Konechny. Shots on net, 15-7 Pittsburgh in the first, 13-10 Philly in the second, 13-6 Philly in the third. They did outshoot Pittsburgh 33-31. Power plays, Philadelphia 0 for 5, Pittsburgh 1 for 4. The hits, 30-29 for Philadelphia. Ayerson saved 27 out of 30. He was good. DeSmith was really good too. I'm honestly kind of surprised he wasn't one of the 3 stars. 31 saves on 33 shots. I mean, with Dwight Schrute all over your helmet, you should be one of the 3 stars every game. But at any rate, I need to change boards. All right, Detroit and Toronto. So this was a bit of a surprise, at least to me. I'm sure there will be those who say, I'm not surprised. I was very surprised by this. This is Nedeljkovic versus Murray. Early chances for the Leafs. Mata would score. It's a breakaway, end-to-end at 129. And all of a sudden, on their first shot, Detroit's ahead. Shots are 5-1 for the Wings at 5 minutes. We get a power play for Toronto. That's killed off. And then Yarncroke would tie the game from Abruzzese. And Timmins at 7:33. Then there was a glove on the puck in the Wings crease. So a penalty shot is awarded, and Camp takes the penalty shot. That was saved. The Leafs on penalty shots this year are 0 for 7. Then there's a power play for Toronto. That becomes 50 seconds of 4-on-4. Everything's killed off there. Kerfoot's denied on a fast break. And then Berggren would score at 12:44. It was a wrister, crossbar and in. Haig and Raymond with the assist. Murray then gets shaken up. He collided with Raymond. Raymond kind of backs into him. Murray would leave the game. I've seen some comments about why there wasn't a penalty there. I didn't see the intent in that, but I understand there's some people upset. So Samsonov's in, and of course Samsonov played last night. Wings press with 2 minutes left, and eventually they get another goal. It's Larkin from Kubalik and Mata at 19:21. So surprisingly, in a period that Toronto actually played quite well, Detroit's ahead 3-1. Second period, shots are 3-0 Leafs at 2 minutes. The Leafs then press at 4 minutes. Nylander has a rush chance that deflects wide. Wings with a 2-on-1, that's broken up. There was a dog pile at the Leafs net. No idea how, but the puck stays out. Wings press at the half. We then get a power play for the Leafs. That was killed off. The Leafs press with 5 minutes left. Nylander with a rush chance that's saved. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Matthews was denied on a rush. The last minute, there's a press by the Leafs. And then with 1.8 seconds left, things get kind of scrummy because Samsonov with a hold, and the Leafs were protecting their goaltender because, well, Murray's already out. So it's still 3-1 after 2. Third period, Larkin couldn't bury one in close. In fact, the shots on net are 7-0 for Toronto 3.5 minutes in. Yeah, it was ridiculous. Veleno has a shot that's blocked. The Leafs clear, but the Leafs would get a power play, and they score on it. It's Tavares from Riley and Matthews at 5:59. That one was tipped in, and it was a screenshot as well. The Leafs press for the tie, but at 10:16, Larkin buries one in close. Sherratt and Seider with the assist. So suddenly it's a 2-goal lead again. Berggren is then robbed from the side of the net, and then they pull the goaltender, and Larkin hits the empty net from Seider at 17:48. That is the second career hat trick for Dylan Larkin. Detroit steals one here. They win this one 5-2. They go to 34, 33, and 9 on the season. For the Leafs, 45, 21, and 10 with the loss. It's not the end of the world, but again, you know, they want to lock down second place in their division. 3 stars are Nedeljkovic, Larkin, and Mata. Shots on net, 15-10 Toronto in the first, 13-7 Toronto in the second, 17-6 Toronto in the third. They outshot Detroit 45-23. Power plays 0 for 1 for Detroit, 1 for 3 for Toronto. Hits 30-23 for Toronto. Nedeljkovic has been fantastic since the recall. 43 saves on 45 shots. Murray saved 5 out of 7 before getting hurt, and Samsonov 13 saves on 15 shots in relief. So we'll probably get an update on Murray. I intend to do a news video after this anyways, for like weekend stuff that I haven't had time to do a video on. And tonight it's early enough that I can do that. So, all right. Next up, New Jersey and Winnipeg. After I find out what happened with Mania. So Vanacek versus Hellebuck in this one, and there's no mercy magnet. I didn't see this coming either. For Winnipeg, I guess all those goals they got in their last game have really got the offense going. And what's impressive is there's only one guy with 2 goals in this game out of the 6 goals that are scored. So a lot of guys are going now. So early jump for the Jets. The shots are 2-1 in their favor at 3 minutes and at 4:59. Good forecheck. They get the turnover, and then Ehlers buries it in close. Wheeler and Schmidt with the assists. Then there was a big hit by DeMello. That draws cheers. DeMello was going to have a good game. Power play for the Devils. Back-to-back clears by the Jets. That's killed off. Hughes then defends a chance for Dubois. We get a power play for the Jets. That's killed off. And then at 16:15, it's a rush. And Niederreiter buries the rebound from Wheeler and Nemesnikov. Also notice that now we've got a lot of long names on the Jets. I need to do like a study on the teams with the really long names that make it hard for me to get them all in here. Do they actually perform better? Because I know with Vegas, they love the last names that are really long, and now it feels like Winnipeg's doing the same. So Scheifele's robbed on the last minute break. I worry about the silliest things. 23.5 seconds left. The Jets get a power play. That leads to a shorthanded rush by Hischier that's saved. So got to make sure you're watching that. But it's 2-0 Winnipeg after 1. Second period. Jets set up and cycle. They've still got that power play. Dubois is a shot that deflects wide, and the kill is finished by the Devils. Then there's a penalty shot for Morgan Barron, and he scores on it. That's a 2:42, and he buries it 5-hole. Shots are 5-3 for the Devils at 5 minutes, and they did well, except they didn't get a goal in that second period. But Connor would score to make it 4-0 from Dubois at 10:34. And really, the storyline through 40 minutes was Hellebuck looked really good. Vanacek didn't look as good, but when you've got a goaltender pitching a shutout at one end. So Blackwood was in to start the third, and the Jets announcers talked about how the Devils hadn't been shut out all season. And my wife's like, did they just talk about, why did they talk about that? There's a whole period left. And I said, not everybody's superstitious. I would think they should be a little stitious with how this worked out, but hey. So early Hischier chances held. There's a power play for the Devils. I don't say it. Just to be honest, I don't say it. Even when I'm in my room by myself, I don't say, well, this is going to be a shutout. So that power play for the Devils that happens early on is killed off. Niederreiter has a chance that's blocked and cleared. The Devils press at 4.5 minutes. The shots 6 minutes into the period are 6-2 New Jersey. So it's not like Winnipeg came out and said, okay, let's do a defensive shell here and make sure shots don't get through on Hellebuck. It's kind of, hey, Connor, heads up. So Barron fires one high on a turnover chance, and then Dubois. It's a tic-tac-toe play, and it's a one-timer by Dubois. Morrissey and DeMello with the assists at 10:18. So there's DeMello with another point. And then there's a power play for the Jets. It had trouble setting up, but then they score. Late in the power play, it's Ehlers from Scheifele and Morrissey at 14:10. It's 6-0. So absolutely ridiculous score. The Devils look to answer. There's a press by New Jersey with 3 minutes left. With 2:10 left, the New Jersey Devils get a power play, and just before it ends, Hischier scores from Hughes and Brad at 19:46 to ruin the shutout. And as I say when that happens, and I always say watching these things live, and that's why we can't have nice things. So the final score is 6-1 for Winnipeg. They go to 43-31-3 with the win. Huge win for Winnipeg. For the Devils, 48-21-8 with the loss, combined with the win by Carolina. The odds of them finishing first in the division really take a hit tonight. 3 stars are Hellebuck, Ehlers, and Dubois. Shots on net, 13-7 Winnipeg in the first, 14-8 New Jersey in the second, 11-6 New Jersey in the third. Final shots, 32-27 for the Devils. Both teams were 1 for 3 on the power play. Hits, 17-9 for Winnipeg. Vanacek saved 17 out of 21. Blackwood saved 4 out of 6 in relief. Hellebuck saved 31 out of 32. It turns out Hellebuck's a pretty good goalie. Who knew? All right, next up. Anaheim almost pulled this off, but then they forgot to play the third period. So it's Dostal versus Markstrom. Vetrano has a rush that's broken up. The shots are 3-0 for the Flames at 3.5 minutes. But then at 4:17 on their first shot, buried on a rush, it's Vetrano. Frankie Vetrano's had a very good year for a team that doesn't score goals. Zegras and Shattenkirk with the assists. Flames press for a response. There was more pressure by the Flames at 8.5 minutes. Dubé has a shot that nearly deflects in. Jones is then denied on a turnover break. So you got to watch those. We get a power play for the Ducks, and right after the kill ends, they score. Comtois from Vetrano and Shattenkirk. That's at 17:51. It's 2-0 for Anaheim, even though they've been outplayed through large portions of the period. 55.3 seconds left. The Flames get a power play. So, to start the second period, Vladar's in the net. So Markstrom's night was done. And 33 seconds into the second period, Vladar gets some goal support. It's Mangiapane on the power play from Toffoli and Anderson. It's a cross-ice pass, and it's roofed. Flames go back to the power play, but the Ducks killed that one off. The shots on net are 5-1 Calgary at 6.5 minutes. And at 7 minutes and 12 seconds, Zadorov scores from Huberdeau and Toffoli. And then a little over a minute later, at 8:18, Ritchie tips one in. Stetcher and Kadri with the assist. So suddenly, Calgary's got a lead. Whew. Crisis averted. Not so fast. Vetrano ties it less than a minute later from Carrick and Fowler, and that's completely against the flow of play. There's no other way to put it. And then at 12:56, again, I thought the Flames were dominating, but Harrington scores from Carrick and Comtois. Suddenly the Ducks have the lead back. Now they're up 4-3. Vetrano has a rush chance that's saved. Backlund has a rush shot that's kicked aside. The Flames press with 2 minutes left, but it's 4-3 Anaheim after 2 periods. And then to start the third, I guess Anaheim decided we're just tired. We're done. No idea. But at any rate, this is all kidding aside, this is where you can tell the team that really desperately needs a result and the team that doesn't. So early press by Calgary. Coleman can't bury one on the doorstep. Heavy pressure by the Flames at 3.5 minutes. They're not getting enough shots, though. Harrington has a shift that was 2:45 long before the Ducks cleared out and he got off the ice. Shots are 4-0 for the Flames at 5.5 minutes. So considering how much zone time they had, I thought they would have had more shots than that. And then Lucic on a rush fires at far corner from Coleman and Weegar at 6:26. Weegar, heroic and a shot block that led to that, so I'm glad he gets the secondary assist. Flames then press for the lead. It's really all Calgary. 8.5 minutes left. Ducks still didn't have a shot on net. Hanifin has a wraparound that goes wide. Really, I triple underlined it. All Flames. It's not close. This is a tie game, and it really, really shouldn't be. And I will agree with the announcers. It felt like the Vancouver game, where they outplayed the opposition by a lot, and they had to come back and win it. Stone gets the one, and this is great because Stone, it's his first game back after a long time out. He scores from Ritchie and Kadri at 17:22, and that was through a screen. So it was a 90-mile-an-hour shot through a screen. I don't think there's a goalie that stops that through the screen. So your final score is 5-4 for Calgary. They go to 36, 26, and 15. For the Ducks, 23, 44, and 10. And I will agree with the Calgary announcers at the end. They said, well, it wasn't pretty. Nope. But they get the 2 points. So 3 stars are Toffoli, Stetcher, and Vetrano. Shots on net, 9 apiece in the first, 19-9 Calgary in the second, 13-4 Calgary in the third. They outshoot them 41-22. Power plays, the Ducks 0 for 1, Calgary 1 for 2. Hits 17-16 for Calgary. Dostal saved 36 out of 41. He was solid. Markstrom saves 7 out of 9, and Vladar saves 10 out of 12. So if Calgary does find a way to jump over Winnipeg, do they have a goaltender right now that we can look at and say, that's a guy that you can trust in a best-of-7 series against a top team in the West? So I think that's a valid question. All right, last up, LA and Vancouver. The LA Kings are playing a style of hockey that doesn't lend itself to a lot of notes. A lot of clears, a lot of neutral zone play, not a lot of chances. Basically just neutralize, don't allow a lot of chances. So it's Korpisalo versus Demko in this one. McEwen has a chance that's caught and held by Demko early on. Shots are 4-3 for Vancouver at 5.5 minutes, and at 5:56, Brock Besser gets his 17th goal of the season from Miller and DiGiuseppe. The Canucks then draw themselves a power play. Garland would fire one wide. That was killed off, but the Canucks had some momentum here. They go back to the power play, but then it becomes 13 seconds of 4-on-4. During that 13 seconds, LA scores. It is Iafallo from Kopitar and Kempe at 13:02. And then the Canucks killed the penalty. So you don't like the 4-on-4 goal, but hey, at least they killed the penalty. But their penalty kill tonight, it doesn't have a great percentage. So second period, good early back and forth, but the Kings would draw a power play, and at 3:24, they score on it. It is Iafallo from Arvidsson and Kopitar. Miller almost responds shortly thereafter. Shots are 4-1 for the Kings at 9 minutes. The Kings then press with 7 minutes left. There's a press again by LA with 2 minutes left. They had a lot of zone time in Vancouver's end. Myers was denied in the final minute. And after 2 periods, it's 2-1 LA. Third period. Teams exchange rushes. There was a stick save on a Rathbone opportunity. Shots on net are 3-1 for the Kings at 2.5 minutes. So they are doing their best to maintain the lead, and the best way to maintain the lead is keep it at the other team's end. I like this strategy. I wish there were more teams that employed it. Burrows has a shot that's caught and held. Arvidsson then with a net drive chance that was held onto as well. Canucks press at 5 minutes. Kupari to McEwen. That was picked off. Miller has a shot that deflects out on his own entry. Power play for the Canucks, and the Kings don't give them anything. Don't let them set up. Kuzmenko has an open net chance that's blocked by Iafallo. Canucks cycle late. It's killed off, just the one shot on net. And then Kaliev adds the insurance goal from Lizotte and Gavrikov at 13:36. That makes it 3-1. So that's your insurance goal. Then there's a power play for the Canucks, but a pretty aggressive penalty kill again by LA. They don't let them set up, and they kill it off. Don't think there was a shot on that Canucks power play. With 1:39 left, an icing by the Kings on an empty net attempt, but Lizotte would hit the empty net at 19:11 from Kaliev. LA wins this one 4-1. They go to 45, 22, and 10. They reach the 100-point mark. The Canucks back below NHL 500 at 34, 35, and 7. It's this kryptonite for them this year. It was under Boudreau, and it is now. So your 3 stars are Iafallo, Besser, and Doughty. Shots on net are 13-5 Vancouver in the first, and then LA just shuts it down. They outshoot them 6-5 in the second and 14-5 in the third. The Kings ended up outshooting the Canucks 25-23. Power plays, LA 1 for 2. Vancouver 0 for 4. The hits 30-27 LA. Korpisalo saves 22 out of 23. Demko saves 21 out of 24. So there you go. You guys are all caught up on the final busy Sunday of the regular season. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.